I'm Dan Ashton. I'm the technical director at Procer, and our company, we are a project controls consultancy. We've chosen to specialize in 4D planning. We chose Synchro because, to be honest, it was the best of all worlds for us. So the fact that you can take in a lot of different file formats in both program and models, the fact that we work with different clients who have different tool sets, we can bring all that data into one space, and then more importantly, manipulate that data within Synchro actually made it the only real viable option for us. The biggest way by far is that the way that it's so easy to spot and present issues within a program. The stakeholder side of that thing, and the fact that a video is much easier to understand, or an output from Synchro is much easier to understand than a traditional 2D Gantt chart, particularly with the projects that we work on, quite complex programs, heavy coordination issues between different disciplines. 4D, the way that you can present an issue to somebody and explain it to them in a couple of minutes, it just saves so much time. It's so easy to spot, and then you can even communicate it down to the guys on the ground should you need to. So it's not a dark art anymore going into the project plan. I think the biggest thing is that there's maybe a misconception that you need a level of project complexity to introduce 4D, or you can even only introduce it at a certain time during a project lifecycle. My advice would be the earlier you introduce 4D into a project, the better. It should just be seen as a naturally growing thing like the rest of your BIM or your digital strategy. So it should start at concept and it should move right the way through the life cycle of the project, through to the end of construction. I kind of witnessed the change from going from old-fashioned 2D drawings, whether it be AutoCAD or whatever, into 3D, and that transition now we wouldn't do without that. In the same way, I can see project controls and planning moving from 2D Gantt charts into a 4D solution, and almost in 5-10 years, we'll look back at a Gantt chart and kind of go, well, wasn't that old-fashioned, and we'll never look back again. In much the same way we've never looked back into the 2D world once we've moved into 3D. And I think the biggest part of that is a lot of it's around acceptance from planners and project controls individuals, but also it's upskilling the current workforce that we have and making sure that we bring them along on that journey as well. So that's a tough one because I quite like all of it. I really like it. It seems quite simple, but the baseline comparisons with the windows. So a lot of what we do is comparisons and checking off what contractors are doing between different revisions of schedules, different Clause 32 programs, and being able to line the two things up next to each other, run them simultaneously, and see where the differences are, and then present that to a project manager and help them understand why they haven't achieved what they should have. That to me is a game changer. The understanding's just instant.